Renegade Immortal, Chapter 639, Zhou Yi's Life Sword Energy. Hello, welcome back to my channel, Books with AR. Wang Lin whispered, "Senior Zhou Yi." He could feel that, aside from external forces, the main reason for Zhou Yi's death aura was himself. He wholeheartedly wanted to die. After Wang Lin saw the formation before him, he knew that he couldn't break this formation. If anyone could break this formation, it could only be Zhou Yi himself. Although Wang Lin's voice was soft, it echoed through the cracks. Zhou Yi's eyes trembled as he slowly opened them. His eyes were empty, and within this emptiness there was ultimately sadness. His face was still in a daze. Just at this moment, Ling Tianhou's divine sense broke through the golden cage. It turned around and charged directly at Wang Lin once more. A soft sigh echoed across the crack. The sigh came from Zhou Yi, and at the moment the sigh spread across the cave, Ling Tianhou's divine sense, charging toward Wang Lin, immediately collapsed. This sword energy dissipated, but reformed into a ball of light that floated motionless above the fourth sword. "You should leave." Zhou Yi still hadn't looked at Wang Lin. He closed his eyes once more. Wang Lin's origin soul suffered great injuries just to get here, and now he didn't even have the power to leave. His origin soul was now only the size of a baby, and its originally crystal-clear body was now murky. He had used all of his spells and everything he had to finally reach this point, because Zhou Yi was his benefactor. However, after doing all of this, all he got were those three plain words from Zhou Yi. "You should leave." Wang Lin revealed a thick, mocking smile. The smile wasn't toward other people, but toward himself. "Your heart is already dead, and I indeed shouldn't have come." Wang Lin shook his head and turned around to leave. At the moment he entered here and lost 6 portions of his origin soul, he had already repaid his debt to Zhou Yi. "Heart is dead. At the moment Ting left, my heart really did die." The sadness on Zhou Yi's dazed face became even stronger. In the several hundred years he had been sealed here by Ling Tianhou, he had constantly been in a state of confusion. He knew of the ancient demon's invasion, but he didn't want to stop it. But the golden light was his love for Ting, and he didn't want to throw it away. After letting out a sigh, Zhou Yi raised his completely purple right hand and flicked his finger. A ray of golden light suddenly appeared, and it contained a very powerful sword energy. This was the same sword energy that put Ling Tianhou in such a sorry state. This was the life sword energy of the Rain Celestial Sword. Zhou Yi only had 99 rays of this sword energy. When he was hunting Ling Tianhou, he used most of his life sword energy. Now he only had 4 left. The sword energy charged directly at the ball of light above the fourth sword and directly pierced it. Although Ling Tianhou's divine sense was powerful, it couldn't compare to Zhou Yi's Rain Celestial Sword life sword energy. The ball of light shattered, and Ling Tianhou's divine sense was destroyed. The divine sense turned into specks of light. With the help of the sword energy, those specks of light flowed into Wang Lin's body. At this moment, those specks of light entered Wang Lin's origin soul. His damaged origin soul began to recover at a crazy speed. In almost an instant, not only did his origin soul completely recover, but it also had a feeling of expanding. This feeling slowly stopped, but the remaining specks of light didn't dissipate. They automatically found Ling Tianhou's sword energy inside Wang Lin's origin soul and fused with it. The sword energy suddenly became 30% more powerful than before. Zhou Yi slowly said, "My life sword energy can't be stored in you, so I can't give it to you. You were injured because of me, so I helped you recover. You should go. Don't come back." Wang Lin let out a sigh and started walking toward the exit. Then he slapped the bag of holding, and the pagoda with Zhou Yi's divine sense appeared. Wang Lin looked at it before throwing it behind him. "I have already completed the promise from back then. I will no longer guard this pagoda." Zhou Yi suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the pagoda. His sadness in his eyes was enough to cover the sky. "Ting." Wang Lin's foot stopped, but he didn't turn around. He said, Her name is not Ting Er. If my guess is correct, her name is Qing Shuang. Zhou Yi's spirit trembled. He raised his head, and the emptiness in his eyes had disappeared. Instead, it was replaced with energy. Qing Shuang? Wang Lin turned around to look at Zhou Yi. He didn't speak, but threw Qing Lin's jade. Zhou Yi's eyes narrowed, and he caught the jade. He immediately scanned it with his divine sense, and his expression changed. After a long time, he bitterly said to himself, Qing Shuang. Wang Lin's voice was calm as he slowly said, the daughter of Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. This Qing Lin was the most powerful person in the Celestial Land. Rumors have it that he escaped when the Celestial Land collapsed. He is hidden in his cave here in the Demon Spirit Land, healing. The energy in his eyes became even intense, and a trace of vitality gradually appeared in his body. The purple gas around him began to speed up, but it couldn't stop his vitality from appearing. The purple gas surrounding Zhou Yi suddenly got crazy. It charged at the golden light between his brow crazily. Scatter for me. His eyes lit up, and the purple gas surrounding him immediately began to struggle, in an attempt to retaliate, but it had no effect and was quickly expelled from Zhou Yi's body. Soon, all of the purple gas was expelled from Zhou Yi's body, and the large cloud of purple gas disappeared through the formation on the ground. Zhou Yi was the Rain Celestial Sword spirit. If the ancient demon of the Water Demon country personally came, then Zhou Yi might not stand a chance since he only had 3 life sword energies left. However, simply expelling the ancient demon's demonic spiritual energy was not difficult for Zhou Yi. The purple gas disappeared, and Zhou Yi's body was crystal clear like flowing water. He looked at the pagoda and waved his right hand. A ray of sword energy immediately flew out from the tower. This sword was small, and it was obvious from its appearance that it was made for a female. This sword was one of the Rain Celestial swords. Zhou Yi was the Rain Celestial sword's sword spirit. His body turned into a ray of light and immediately flew into this small sword. At this moment, the crack was filled with sword energy. Just at this moment, the remaining 3 balls of light immediately flew into the air. They turned into divine sense and flew at Zhou Yi. A cold snort came from the sword, and a ray of Zhou Yi's life sword energy immediately flew out. An earth-shattering sound suddenly echoed across the entire tide abyss. It was as if the fierce sword energy wanted to cut open the entire tide abyss. The 3 balls of light immediately shattered and were devoured by Zhou Yi. As for the projections of the 4 swords on the ground, they were also shattered by the life sword energy. The formation on the ground shattered with the swords. The crack that sealed Zhou Yi immediately collapsed. Ling Tianhou, although you had me sealed for hundreds of years, if it wasn't for the fact my heart was dead, how could your seal trap me? I'm the Rain Celestial Sword's sword spirit. My life is as long as the heavens and earth, and I inherited the 4 great sword intent from ancient times. Although I can't kill you, unless I allow it, you can't seal me. In these hundreds of years, although my heart was dead, I could constantly feel the inheritance of the ancient sword intent. If we meet again, let us see whether or not my cultivation is still the same as before. Zhou Yi flew out the moment the crack collapsed. Wang Lin immediately followed Zhou Yi. 1 sword and 1 person appeared outside the crack. Zhou Yi appeared from the celestial sword. He still looked the same as before, only it looked like more time had passed. He held the pagoda in his hand. After looking at the pagoda, he sent it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin, keep this safe for me. Wang Lin nodded. He caught the pagoda and put it inside his bag of holding. Zhou Yi's gaze fell on Wang Lin, and there was a hint of gratitude in his eyes. He said, for you to reach this step in just a few hundred years is worthy of congratulations. Wang Lin let out a sigh and said, thanks to the senior for the Ascendant Crystal. Otherwise, Wang Lin shook his head and didn't go on. The Ascendant Crystal was your reward for guarding Timirim, so there's no need to thank me. If there is any thanks to be said, it should be me thanking you. I didn't think that the 2 of us would meet again after several hundred years. Thinking about it now, if it wasn't for the fact that you were determined to find me, we wouldn't have met today. Zhou Yi saw that Wang Lin wanted to speak, but he waved his hand to stop Wang Lin. He pondered for a bit and asked, Wang Lin, I remember there were 2 celestial swords in the pagoda. Do you still have the other one? Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding, and the celestial sword Shu Li Guo was in flew out. Shu Li Guo was inside the celestial sword and immediately felt Zhou Yi's existence. He was also a spirit body, so his feeling at this moment was very strong. The other was like the master of all sword spirits, and he was in awe. He even felt that this person was the real sword spirit of the sword he was in. He was merely in someone else's home. Eh? After Zhou Yi saw the celestial sword, his eyes lit up and he pointed with his right hand. Shu Li Guo immediately flew out from the celestial sword. His face was filled with the urge to flatter. This was even more intense than when he was facing Wang Lin. Senior, Junior's name is Shu Li Guo. It was my master who made me live inside the celestial sword. It was not because I wanted to. Wang Lin's expression immediately became ugly, and he coldly looked at Shu Li Guo. Zhou Yi laughed and said to Wang Lin, I can't pass my spells on to you, but this spirit body is pretty good. I can allow him to comprehend the ancient sword intent and accelerate his growth until he can completely control this celestial sword.